Greetings and welcome to night 2 of Madonna Holy Week in the Mount Shasta Goddess Temple. Whether you're watching now or tuning in later, you're welcome. We are honoring 5 different faces of the Black Madonna this week in what we usually do as our monthly ceremony, but which for this week out of the year is our daily ceremony. And just as a reminder, for those who are returning, if you'd like to have a candle, you're welcome to. Incense is optional. It can help set the mood. And I will be pulling a card for us from the Mother Mary Oracle by Alana Fairchild. But if you have one at home and you'd like to read in greater depth some of the further pages of each divination, you might want to have one. And Our Lady of Perpetual Help is our theme overall for the month of June this year, but we're not focusing specifically on her messages as much as on how the different Black Madonnas, all of them in their own way, are perpetually giving help to the world. So let's begin with a moment of silence, just opening our hearts and preparing for our ceremony. Feel free to light your incense if you wish. Been a busy day here, and as I'm settling in, opening my heart with gratitude for this moment in this sacred circle of respite and peace and learning and growth. At the edge of space, Ave Tenebros Clara. At the east, Ave Hodegetria, she who shows the way. Dark Mother, we call to you. Black Madonna of Czestochowa, shine your guiding light and be with us. Ave. At the south, Rosa Mystica. Dark Mother, we call to you. Virgen Santísima de Guadalupe. Glow your radiant grace and be with us. Ave. At the west, Stella Maris, Star of the Sea. Dark Mother, we call to you. Sainte Marie de la Mer, pour out your mercy and be with us. Ave. And at the north, Sedes Sapientia, O throne of wisdom. Dark Mother, we call to you. Black Madonna of Montserrat, stand as our mountain sanctuary against the storms of a troubled world. Ave. Recalling the ancestors, those we are close to, those we were not close to, that we missed that relationship, those who are lost to time, those who are benevolent, those whom we need to forgive, holding that space for the complexity of our ancestral history, as well as all of its many joys and the grief of loss. We have the same blood as our sisters. We have the same heart as our grandmothers. Tonight we honor you. Tonight we welcome you. Welcome. We have the same blood as our brother. We have the same heart as our grandfather. Tonight we honor you. Tonight we welcome you. Welcome. Taking up our candles, let's light these flames and consecrate them this night. Great Mother, by the power of this candle flame, may I live well to honor your name. By the light of this candle flame, may I be merciful and receive the same. By earth below and stars above, may I walk gently with grace and love. By starry sky and shining sea, I trust in you. Watch over me. I managed to pull together this collage of the Madonnas we're working with this week. And so you can see all the way to the left, this one was the Madonna that we worked with last night. That was the lady in Netherlands, Our Lady who of the Oak, who is there for the dispossessed. And tonight we are working with this one, Our Lady of Cardigan in Wales. And she is known as Our Lady of the Taper or Mary of Cardigan. The original statue was made of wood, carved of wood, and appeared miraculously at the site in Wales in 1158. And in 1538, the statue of Mary of Wales, Our Lady of the Taper, was gathered up with numerous other Black Madonna statues from across Great Britain, was brought to Chelsea in London, and was burnt at the stake. The statues of Black Madonnas, you heard it correctly, were actually burnt at the stake in 1538. Many of the traditions of the UK, of Britain, and histories were being systematically destroyed at that time, along with their shrines and records. This was at the order of Thomas Cromwell, who was the chief minister of King Henry VIII. You may remember King Henry VIII had been excommunicated from the Catholic Church, or he had removed himself from the Catholic Church because he wanted to remarry and wasn't allowed to after having his wife put to death. And so he parted ways with the Catholic Church under that time of violence, and he then set Thomas Cromwell to ensuring that Catholicism was all but eradicated in Great Britain. So we don't actually know how many of the statues that were burnt of the Marys were actual Black Madonnas, and we don't know how many of those statues actually were burnt, but because they were made of stone or some comparably hardy material, perhaps they survived and are now Black Madonnas. We also don't know how many other statues and records may have gone missing during this time, but we do know that this is a statue who has been indexed as a Black Madonna due to references from English and Welsh texts to her as a Black Madonna. So she was found in nature. At the time that she was found, it was believed to be a miraculous appearance. She told the people who found her that she wanted a special shrine that was built for her in nature. And the legend of this particular Welsh statue is that she appeared on the river Teifi in Cardiganshire in 1158, and that she was holding a burning lit taper candle. She was a simple statue, and the shrine of this statue immediately became a place of pilgrimage for those in Wales. The original church, St. Mary's, is still there, although it has gone through crumbling and being rebuilt. It was rebuilt in the 14th century and is now an Anglican church. So Bishop Barlow was the man who was charged with destroying this particular statue. And he wrote, "The image now situated in the church of Cardigan, which is used for a great pilgrimage to this present day, was found standing upon the river Teifi, and her son was upon her lap, and the same taper burning in her hand. The said image was carried to Christ Church of Cardigan, and the image would not tarry there, but was found 3 or 4 times in the place where is now built the church of Our Lady, with the taper burning in her hand, which has continued burning this space of 9 years without wasting, until the time when it extinguished and never burnt again. Said taper was then enclosed in a case and regarded as a great relic. It was worshipped, kissed by pilgrims, and sworn upon by men in difficult and hard matters. Pilgrims also would take wax drippings from the taper. So if the taper seemed to be melting and there were any wax drippings, they would gather those and take them home, or they would touch a cloth to the statue and the taper as a way of absorbing the sacred energy of the holy objects. They would also buy wax figurines of the Madonna, probably wax castings. So now the new church is greatly modernized, but there's also a record of a ritual that used to be performed at the ancient shrine. And here it is. At cockcrow, a woman will descend from the vault of the choir, bearing a taper, which she must present to the bishop. When he has received it, he must drop some of the wax into jars of water, which will then be given to the sick, and they shall be cured. Now, this is reminiscent of a very old Slavic custom, Roman custom. It's performed with metal as well as beeswax, which is the entity or energy removal with the power of beeswax. And what people will do is they will burn a beeswax candle, or they'll gather some molten beeswax and pass it around a person who's sick, or a person who's been plagued by evil spirits or bad luck. And then they will pour the molten wax into cold water and then observe from the shape in the molten wax as it hardens when it hits the water any further messages. So today, Father Jason Jones wrote, "Popular piety associates the image now with the feast of the presentation of the Lord at Candlemas. Our Lady is the one who fully reflects the light of her glorified Son and embraces each pilgrim in the warmth of her love." And so we see how the narrative has changed from it being Mary holding the light and being the light in the world to Mary now being the reflection of the light of her Son. Now, the image that we see here in this picture is actually a bronze casting sculpted by Sister Concordia Scott, who lived from 1924 to 2014. And she did this somewhere in about 1986. She cast this bronze sculpture to look like the original wooden sculpture. And so you see that she's sort of grainy and lined, and this is all meant to mimic how she envisioned the original wooden sculpture. The church in Cardigan has been through a lot. It was taken over by French monks from Brittany in 1912. At the outbreak of World War II, all those monks were conscripted into the army and the church was closed. In 1952, Bishop Pettit learned that there was a shrine there, and he's the one who commissioned a new statue. It was put in Westminster Cathedral in 1956 in Our Lady of Sorrows Church. Then this statue, Our Lady of the Taper, was finally made in 1986, 30 years later, in bronze, in the presence of 4,500 pilgrims. It was installed in the church on Pentecost Sunday in 1986. In 1986, the Pope also visited it, and now that, and he removed it out of the particular church it was in and put it into a designated Welsh national shrine of Our Lady. And so up until 1986, from the 14th century or 15th century until 1986, the cult of Our Lady of the Taper was found in memory or in stories only. And then finally in 1986, when she got her own place, pilgrims by the thousands started flocking back. And to this day, it's the same way. And now the statue that is in situ receives visitors as voluminous as she did in the ancient world. So this is really a story about, there's kind of so many layers to it. It's the story about how our own light may be dimmed in the physical form for a time, but our spirit remains shining bright in the memories and histories and documentation of those who have loved us and believed in us. It's a story about how a woman is the one who resurrected this statue. It's a story about how the witch craze in ancient Europe took over people's better faculties and minds, and that Henry VIII was part of this in his destruction of Catholic statues, histories, written histories, and other relics. And ultimately, it's a story about holding our own light through times of difficulty and illuminating that lamp for others in need. And so today I've got our petitions, and let me go in and get them. So Mary says, please pray for my nephew in jail. He has done serious things. We pray he can go to rehab and turn his life around. And so lifting for Mary. From Michael, please help me with my court case. Lifting for Michael. And from Jade, I need a miracle in my court hearing. Thank you. Lifting for Jade. From Tracy, I'm looking for new ways to bring prosperity into our family, as well as more health, healing, and energy to my body. I've been struggling with autoimmune issues, which get in the way of my work. Lifting for Tracy. From Selena, praying for the health of Thomas as he battles cancer. Protection for my kids, A and S. Thank you. And from Nakia, please heal and protect my womb and fertility. Please take the pain from my womb and aura and help me transmute it to good. Please lift me from my trauma and the spirits that accompany it. And now we'll pause our recording to hear private requests. And so, having lifted our petitions, now we're going to elevate them with this prayer by Clarissa Pinkola Estes. We lift you up so your soul can be seen by Mother Mercy, she who checks doorways, sees through cracks and into corners where souls often hide, seeking refuge. She who is the Immaculate Heart sees you easily, greets you warmly, remembers you with love. For she is the mirror of heaven, the tower of ivory, obsidian blade, star of the waters, seat of wisdom. We lift you up so Blessed Mother can see all that you need now in order to bring goodness and contentment, healing and health, understanding and love to you and your beloveds in every possible way. And especially, may all these be given to you in ways you can most easily see and understand, and in ways you can put to immediate good use. We lift you up because you were knitted up in your earthly mother's womb by one greater, not only born already blessed, but also born as a blessing on all of us. Do not forget this, for we have not forgotten you, and neither and never has your greater mother. Let you walk now forward into this day, both deeply blessed and blessing others with the magnitude of our Holy Mother's love. Amen. So I'll draw us a card from the Mother Mary Oracle by Alana Fairchild, and Sophia Shiloh McLeod did the art for this deck. Beautiful collaboration, very diverse Madonnas. And thematically, an interesting vision, very accepting and loving, inclusive vision of Mother Mary, not the disempowered or punitive vision that we might see in some ways that she's conveyed. Tonight's card is Our Lady of Love. $42. So for us to think about for the next 24 hours, I am love, calling you home to my heart. I am your mother. You are my child. There is nothing to fear and only love to be. Cast aside both doubt and the walls that have held you back from the world. Enter the sacred dwelling of the heart and open the gate wide, allowing me to enter, and for love to pour forth to nourish your world. Love will call when it is time, even if you're not sure that you're ready for it. You are being called deeper into love, fuller and in a more mysterious way than ever before. Build a home, a sanctuary from the ills of the world where all can feel welcomed and loved. And so whether that home is our hearts or whether that home is in a physical space, or whether that home is online for those who wish to connect. Each of us has this heart home, and we can open it wide and allow those who need that level of love to be present, whether they're family and friends and our close circle that we're watching over, praying for, and tending, or whether it's more global considerations and concerns, social issues of our day. And so feel the golden door to that heart home swinging open in your mind, and the welcome wagon is there waiting for those who need our light, our prayers, and our compassion. And so we can close. I typically symbolically put my candle out at this time. Great ocean of night, how I adore you. Queen of time and space, I bow down. Mother and defender, I call to you, watch over me. To she of vastness, I bow down again. Mother of all, how I love you, watch over me. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all the silent, secret blessings you bestow. We are all rich in ways we don't even know.